gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August the 31st, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented as always by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. And Matt Shodell, we've got some big developments coming out of Cane's football camp for us to talk about today. And that is that they are suddenly raving about the receivers. It is hard to believe. People are commenting on the YouTube comments, Gary, stop talking about the receivers. I mean, we have been talking a lot about receivers and how they've been coming up short all throughout fall camp. Well, now the narrative is totally changed. And now Mario Cristobal, Tyler Van Dyke, they are talking about a receiver group that is doing better on the practice field now with the season opener just when is it? They're 4 days away here at Hard Rock Stadium on Saturday. So Matt, Mr. Positivity, you buy into this new feeling that the receivers have finally had a light bulb go on. They understand what they're doing. Their minds aren't swimming. And now, because they are comfortable with what they are doing, they are catching the football.
I always look for the weird stuff in the interviews. I don't just look at the puffery and the clouds and the blue sky. And there was a couple of weird things, man, in that Tyler Van Dyke interview yesterday. One of them was when he said the receivers have really been working much harder on the jugs. Why weren't they working equally hard when they were dropping passes in the spring and early in the fall? I don't understand that part. But it's great that they've been working hard now, and now everything's fixed. The other strange part to me was that Tyler Van Dyke said that Will Mallory is so good that defenses are going to have to double team him. If that's true, you certainly wouldn't broadcast it to your opponents, right? Like, I found those two things very odd. And then
didn't know about Will Mallory. They're not catching anybody by surprise there.
And then he said that they have to, by them having to double team Will Mallory, that'll make the receivers, have a much easier situation. I found those two things just a little bit odd. But yeah, listen, if the receivers really are catching the ball, that would be huge. Of course, we showed up for practice. Well, I showed up for practice, Gary, because I'm a real reporter, unlike you, who I guess you had a meeting. I enjoy throwing you under the bus whenever possible. So I showed up at practice yesterday. And the media that showed up, which was only a few of us, we were told we'll get to watch the first 4 periods of practice. We were all very excited. 4 periods of practice. Oh my gosh. I mean, people were dropping to their knees and throwing their arms up at the heavens. It was like the most exciting thing that had ever happened. Then we get out there, and I mean, it was like we were popping the champagne. We were toasting to each other. 4 periods of practice, man. This is amazing. We can watch 30 minutes of stretching and running around the field. This is going to be great. Then all of a sudden,
video for all of our subscribers and fans.
Sorry,
you could have shot video for all of our subscribers and fans.
Right. Well,
it would have been awesome.
I did start shooting video. Then even better news from the Miami Sports Information Department. Not only will we be able to shoot the first 4 periods of practice in the 100-degree heat, but the second period was going to be inside the IPF with air conditioning. The media freaked out, Gary. I mean, there was screaming. We were louder as a media group than Aaron Feld was yelling during warm-ups when he throws his hands up and arms up and screams at the heavens.
Hey,
it was
before you go any further, you mentioned Aaron Feld? Did you see the video of the little kid doing an Aaron Feld imitation?
Go ahead and put it up, Gary. I know.
Oh, you got to see. Yeah, you got to see this. This was absolutely awesome.
Of the 41-day challenge. Stay juicy. Yeah.
awesome. That is just absolutely awesome. But go ahead. I love that. I love this kid. That is classic.
If that child becomes the leader of the free world, I shudder to think of what will happen to the free world. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, so it was pandemonium. We get to go in the air conditioning for one of the 4 periods. Oh my Lord, it's amazing. Then there's the excited hubbub subsides briefly, and all of a sudden, the sports information person comes and informs us, I was just told that, no, you're going to watch the first period, and then goodbye, you're gone, which basically means you watch them stretch and leave. I think one media member, what was his reaction? Because they have a group text where they tell us we can come on the field. His reaction, do we still have that on here? Did you see that reaction, Gary?
No.
That was great. Awful, period. That was it. One media member says, and this was after we were forced off the field after 1 period. He just responds to everyone in the media group, awful, period. Nobody else responded. So, that pretty much summed up the day.
I think Mario he's in game mode. He's getting the team ready for the season, and not just the Bethune game on Saturday. He's got his eyeballs. He would never admit it.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with it. The weird thing to me again is the media is just, I don't know how you put it. Like, if we're the cheese and cracker, if the team is the cheese and crackers and the wine, like, wear those like weird little like colorful things on the side that you just sort of like the parsley. No, we're like the parsley you just put on the side to make it look a little better. They don't even think about us. It was like, oh wait, oh yeah, the media is here today. Yeah, tell them to leave.
Get the hell out of here.
Certainly tell them to. Yeah,
I can tell you, man. Texas A&M's become a nemesis to Miami in recruiting. They are basically coming down here every year now. They're circling 1 or 2 guys that they want, and they're all in whatever they got to do to get them. And they got Shamar Stewart last year. This year, their target is Hakeem Williams, and he's going to go take a visit to Texas A&M for the Miami game and be sitting on the Texas A&M side. Maybe the top receiver in South Florida. I mean, trust me, I feel, like every game obviously is important. Winning the ACC would be great, all that. Mario wants to win that Texas A&M game in their stadium and just like shove it right up their butts. Like, let's be honest. And like, I think now with that 2.5 weeks away, you're seeing a little bit of an amped up mindset. Not that there hasn't always been, because there has, but I think now we're seeing even a higher degree of intensity towards the football product, and they're getting ready, man. They're getting ready. But
yeah, I think I see nothing wrong with it. This is what every top program does. It used to be back in the day where we would watch an entire practice, as we've talked about it. You talk to any player you want afterwards, get all the information you want, open locker rooms, the whole NFL situation. But now there's no real regulations. In the NFL, you're forced to do certain things. College football, it's a free-for-all. Every program decides for itself. And honestly, the program that has the most access is the program that the opponent knows the most about. So good for Mario Cristobal shutting it down. I don't think that the media is going to see a single other minute of practice the rest of the fall. I really don't, from what I was told yesterday. So I think that's fine, But then when you hear from players or from coaches certain things, you can try to verify it with third-party sources, but you really don't know until the game. And that's why it's going to be great, because Saturdays will show, were they telling the truth or were they making stuff up? Is it how you do anything is how you do everything, or is it how you do anything is how you do nothing? We'll find out on Saturday.
Well, but getting back to my original topic that I was throwing out for discussion is the receivers. And they really, I mean, we're hearing this now multiple places. The receivers have started doing better, and it does make sense. They understand the offense now. They've had a lot of reps. They know what they're doing in their routes, and they could just focus on catching the ball. But the other thing that has become noticeable is they are working harder at it. And I've spoken on this show, why aren't the jugs machines going crazy after practice every day?
You did say that.
Well, yeah. I said that a few days ago. Like, if you're dropping balls, like, like work harder at it. Get on the jugs machines after practice. Come back at night and do more. Like, keep working at it till you start doing it better. Well, they're on the jugs machines now. So, not because of what I said, but they are applying themselves to their craft with a little bit more sense of urgency and intensity with the season coming up. And they're starting to see the results on the practice field. The receivers are catching the ball better. They're getting open better. And that's a positive sign with this game coming up this weekend, where they're going to obviously be looking to hit some big plays and get the starters off the field and let some of the younger kids get playing time against Bethune-Cookman, even though Mario Cristobal says he never thinks like that. He has the utmost respect for every opponent and is not going to disrespect anybody, Bethune-Cookman included. But
yeah, somebody posted on the message board yesterday about all the transfers Bethune's gotten, these former Power 5 guys that transferred. Like, Miami should be worried about Bethune. Like this is going to be a close game. I don't understand what they were trying to say. Someone else says, well, why do you think Texas A&M is going to beat Miami, Matt? And I said, well, I did research their team, and I think their roster, top to bottom, is more talented right now, depth-wise and overall. And the person, somebody else responds, that's just on paper. Well, on paper, Miami's also better than Bethune, but should we be worried about Bethune? Because that's just on paper. Like, I don't understand what people say to me sometimes. Maybe I have the problem. Actually, I'm pretty sure I have the problem. But there are other, like if you want to talk about the receivers, right? Frank Ladson and Colby Young were brought in to fix this receiver group that they thought was going to have problems. And Frank Ladson, quite frankly, has not been what they thought he would be. And Colby has been banged up, unfortunately. He had looked good when he was fully healthy. So, that's an issue. You bring in Caleb Johnson on defense, who I thought was going to be amazing at middle linebacker. When I saw him midway through fall drills, I thought he was great. But now I'm hearing like Corey Flagg's going to start over him. I don't know what the hell happened there because, again, we've been shut out of practice the last 2 weeks. So for you and I to sit here as talking heads and try to tell people, yeah, we know what's going on. Those of you out there, you all know I keep it pretty much straight. We're telling you what we're hearing, not just in these press conferences, but from other people. But at the same time, this is secondhand, third-hand games of telephone we're playing with people, man. And the season's here. So come Monday, Gary and I will have a lot more that we can share. Just, Gary and I have watched a lot of football, a lot of Miami Hurricanes football games in 20 plus years. And we can share what we think we saw versus maybe what you guys out there think you saw. And it'll be interesting to see because against a team like Bethune, you can
everyone's going home by the third quarter.
Right, but you can glean only so much, but you can still glean some things. And we'll see. I was just, starting to work on our 5 keys for the game today, and we'll have to finish that up. But, one of my big keys is going to be just coaching and penalties and mistakes, because those are reasons why Miami played. Somebody was saying, well, Miami won all these, they won 8 games. What did they win, 8 games last year? They could have won 4 or 5. I mean, there was a bunch of close games. Someone else was like, well, we should have won 10, but we lost some close ones. Well, you won some close ones. I don't ever buy that crap. But the point is, if you're playing clean football and not making mistakes and not making busts and assignments, you win the close games easily. And the games that you lost by a few points, you probably win by a few points, So that's really what I want to see against Bethune. I want to see a coaching staff that's all new, really run things with efficiency. One coordinator's up in the box, one coordinator's on the field. How do they communicate with their players? Are the players understanding what they're supposed to do? Do they have to call timeouts because they have the wrong personnel groupings? And with Kevin Steele running 25 guys in and out of plays every single rep.
Did they have to even bother communicating with their players in this game? We'll see.
They need to work on that. I mean, give me a break. False starts, offsides. Are the guys just so eager to get after it that they're making, excitement mistakes, or have they really bought into the new mantra of Mario Cristobal and they're playing how they're coached? All these past coaching staffs have always complained to us privately and publicly that guys are freelancing and when they get in games, Miami Hurricanes players were not playing as they were coached. We heard that over and over and over again, dating back probably to Randy Shannon, I think. And nobody fixed it. Now, Mario Cristobal, when you talk about culture, I don't know what fans think culture is, because culture could be any number of things. But to me, that's number one. Culture is having players, when you say buy-in and culture, that's what it is. You listen to your coaches, You do what they say, not just in practice, but you translate the practice to the games. And it sounds so easy. Why can't anyone do that? Well, guess what? These guys all want to be stars. They want to go to the NFL. They want to get NIL deals. It's hard for a guy to understand. My job is not to get the sack. My job is to read the play and cover this running back just in case, he's going to be the guy who gets the ball on this play, or stay back and shadow the quarterback, whatever it is. Some plays you can't, you have a choice of two things. Kevin Steele's defense, it's not always this is the one thing you're doing. You have to read and react to the play, obviously. And sometimes you have two choices, and one choice is the right choice. And maybe the wrong choice is trying to be the hero, and they have to understand what they were coached to do in that particular situation and know where their help is and all that other stuff. I mean, Kevin Steele can explain it all to you guys when he comes on the show later. But
oh man, that is.
I'm curious to see: are there busts? Are there missed tackles? Are there just bad technique? Bad, all this stuff where you remember last year James Williams was trying to body slam guys instead of wrap up. I don't want to see stuff like that from anybody. So
no sloppiness.
Yeah,
no breakdowns of technique.
You put it much better than I do.
Execute the way you've been taught. Clean it up now. And go into College Station in a couple of weeks, a well-oiled machine. That's the goal for the first few weeks of the season in a nutshell. There's no reason to go any deeper than that. That's it. All right, we got a few more things to talk about today. But first, let's hear from our friends at LifeWallet.
I'm Angela Green, and I am LifeWallet.
Since I've had LifeWallet, I have felt more secure to play.
To protect you and your family, download LifeWallet now.
All right, Matt, let's talk about some of the other things on the website today. We've got our player blogs. Tyreek Stevenson, who had some interesting things to say this week, told us a little bit about a players-only defensive meeting that he and a couple other guys called just to sort of rally the troops a little bit, salute everybody about being on the same page and that sort of thing. And he emerged from that feeling really, really good about the place where the defensive side of the ball is right now. And he's very excited for the season, and his body's feeling good. He thinks he's going to have a great year. So you can read all that in the Tyreek Stevenson blog. And then we've also got a blog today with Xavier Restrepo, who continues to look just absolutely superb in practice and is on course to be from the slot and occasionally being moved to other places, wide receiver number 1 for the Hurricanes this year. And maybe he'll have a little company from what we've been hearing, as I spoke about earlier in the show. So make sure that you check out those two blogs today. We also had the opportunity yesterday to get some extended time with Dan Radakovich, the athletic director, who told us that 50,000 plus tickets have been distributed for the opener against Bethune-Cookman, that plans are full speed ahead for new facilities, although he doesn't yet have a timetable. But Matt, all in all, a very upbeat message from the athletic director who is about to preside over his first football season.
Yeah, and poor Dan, he's got a great personality, but he doesn't know Miami media yet. He shows up, and of course everyone's there because he's going to be talking. And he starts out like, wow, what are all these media
doing? What's everybody doing here? Well, they put out a dang media advisory that the athletic director was coming to talk to the media. Didn't say what it was about. Like, what we didn't know. Like, was he going to announce the new facility? Was he going to announce Miami's going to the Big Ten? I mean, we didn't know. Nobody knew what he was going to say, so everybody showed up. It was a great. And actually, if you wanted to do PR and get people to come out and cover the Hurricanes on the week of their season opener, which might have been the impetus behind making him available, we would be applauding if somebody did actually process it that way, because it did get a lot of extra media coverage and will create extra awareness of the Bethune-Cookman game. But no, Dan mostly just gave us an update on everything going on in his world. And most of that right now involves getting ready to raise a lot of money to build this new mega facility for Miami football. And he also, I thought was interesting, does not seem very engaged with the stadium at Tropical Park to this point. It was similar when I did an interview with him a couple months ago. He said he's focused on the home, not for the 7 days a year that they play home games, but for the other 358 days that they are training on campus and have a football team that needs a facility that matches up with others around the country. So, that's an interesting interview for everybody to check out. And what else? We got a couple recruiting stories. A really good story on 5-star linebacker TJ Capers from Columbus High School. And that's a kid that is going to be a must-get for Miami in the 2024 cycle. Just a really, really good-looking athlete, really good linebacker. So we bring you up to speed on where he stands in terms of the Hurricanes. And we also have the story on a 4-star defensive end from Texas who has been watching all of the Canes greats, and that's inspiring him to put Miami very high up in his pecking order as he develops his recruiting list and moves forward. So, Matt, that's pretty much about it for today, I think. Any parting thoughts?
Well, before you so nicely interrupted me, I was going to try to say poor Dan Radakovich, because he showed up and he tried to do his little comedy routine with, wow, must be all this media must be here because you think we're handing out free stuff, Yeah. And of course, one of the media members immediately goes on social media and says, this AD is so out of touch. He thinks we only show up if they're handing out free stuff, So
somebody really say that?
Somebody did say that.
Wow.
Basically, yeah. Here, here. Hold on. I don't want to misquote somebody. Let me.
Well, no, I don't want to give.
Let me.
I don't want to give somebody credit for that. That's rude, man.
Hold on. Let me see what they actually posted, and they were trying to be funny in their defense, and usually they are fairly funny.
That's not funny. And Dan Radakovich.
Here, Dan. Let's see.
Dan Radakovich is a good guy.
Maybe he changed it. He changed it to Dan Radakovich met with reporters at football practice and told them that Miami wasn't giving any items away for free today. Let me see if he said something. But he said something earlier that was a little bit more edgy than that. And it looks like he got rid of it. So that's good news. So I guess somebody said, hey, not cool.
Yeah, that's pretty rude. I agree. Whatever. I don't want to get into all that. All right. Well, a programming note. A couple of programming notes. If you missed CaneSport Live, our season debut show last night, you could see it, watch it on demand. That's on the site today and also on our YouTube channel. And tonight is the season debut of the Lamar Thomas Show. And that's always a lot.
Hold on a second. Here it is. I got it. You ready?
Yep.
So he did post it, and he obviously took it down because he wrote, well, the post about the Miami AD taking a shot at the media today turned into a complete cesspool of comments. Amazing that I can't even share my own thoughts on my own page. So he did delete it, obviously. But
that's absolutely ridiculous.
That's what he wrote. So he's a good reporter. He's actually a very funny guy. But
what a disaster.
He was not. I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
No reason to
I think he was trying to be funny, and I think
but that's not funny. That's disrespecting the AD. I mean, he's just having just making a lighthearted comment. Whatever. But anyway, Lamar Thomas Show tonight at 8, season debut of that, and we're in full-fledged football season mode, and let's get ready, Canes fans. We'll keep bringing all the content at you. So that's going to do it for today. If you like the show, please hit your like button, hit your subscribe button. We even have a thanks button underneath your video. If you like the video content that we're able to produce and you want us to keep doing more of it and grow our channel and our portfolio of shows, make a contribution using that thanks button at some point as well. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time, everybody.